Hello, hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining in to today's Movement Medicine Morsel. And we are continuing September as the month of National Yoga celebration. And our segments this month have to do with introducing some of you or reminding you about the inner practices of yoga. So earlier in the month, we dealt with the first limb of yoga, the 8 limbs of the yoga practice, Ashtanga. The first limb is called yamas and has to do with how we relate to our environment, the world around us, and those around us. So, just a quick review is reverence for life, for all life, also truthfulness, not stealing or taking what is not our own, not hoarding, making sure that we're aware of others, not only of our ego self, and also really stewarding our vital force, our life force energy wisely and well so we don't squander it. I'll just put it bluntly. We preserve it and we use it wisely and well. Now we're on to the second limb of yoga called the niyamas in Sanskrit, and these are also 5 precepts, and they have to do with personal observances, so ways to relate to our inner selves. So today we start with the first one of those, and in Sanskrit it is called shaucha. Shaucha means purity or cleanliness, and as all wisdom teachings do, there is an obvious interpretation of this, and then there are deeper, more subtle levels. And again, we're just touching lightly, and we're going to include them as a theme for today's physical movements so that we have an experiential philosophy playtime. So, purity, cleanliness. Obviously, we brush our teeth, we wash our hair, we take showers, we wash our clothes. So, there's a cleanliness of the physical body. We can also look at, are we eating food that is clean? Are we eating food that is pure? Are we eating natural food with a lot of prana that helps to support our unique needs and constitution? Do we eat so that we keep our stomach 80%, 75% full, or do we overeat? Both undereating and overeating are ways to throw our systems out of balance. And then, even the deepest, most subtle level, we could be doing lovely things and taking good care of ourselves in those departments. But what about our thoughts? What about our thoughts, our speech? Do we gossip? Gossip would be a lower energy? Do we speak in uplifting ways to one another? And the most important thing, this is the sneakiest and deepest level of shaucha that I want to introduce you to today, is what do we speak to ourselves? What is our self talk? Sometimes this isn't even conscious, but we may have subconscious programming that tells us things: I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful. You can see how that's not purity, that's not cleanliness. And if we're operating in that sense of shame or lack of self love, that's going to have a ripple effect into everything else that we do. So today we're going to look at shaucha as a practice that we can repeat because we only get better through repetition. And if we are prone to negative self talk, and there's a lot of pressure in the outside world to tell us we're not enough, we're either not thin enough, we're not fat enough, we don't have enough hair, we have too much hair, we're not pretty enough, we don't like our noses. And it may be that some of you women out there listening are nodding and feeling this keenly, but I also know that the men in this audience and in this world also have their own versions. It's often struck me that it seems very unkind that women in this culture are often programmed to think that they're way too fat and that the thinner they are, the better that is. But the young men in this culture have terrible pressure if they're not big and bulky. So, what's that? One thing's good for one, but not for the other. Very confusing, very confusing. So we need to get to that inner strength where we can believe in our own beauty and in our own enoughness, and also to remember the perfection of our true nature, which came with avidya, knowing. Avidya is actually one of the kleshas. It means we forget the truth. We forget wisdom. We forget who we really are. That there is an incredible perfection in our bodies, in our souls, in our natures. And we practice yoga and things like Qigong, and we speak to one another like I'm speaking to you now, to remind each other of that beautiful light within. So today's practice is going to be dedicated to that light within and to beginning to repeat and practice and strengthen our knowing of our radiance, our inner radiance. So let's begin the next phase. So that's a little bit of mental yoga. Now let's begin the physical yoga. We're going to line up our posture to match that confidence, that purity, that cleanliness. We're going to create and even fake it till you make it. We're going to take on the posture of confidence, of self love, of being enough and being radiant. So the feet are planted, so we have support and stability. The sit bones are steady and comfortable in your seat. And from that base, the gentle lift stretches all the spaces between the vertebrae, the throat, and the crown of the head is aligned with your own personal soul star, or however you want to visualize this. This creates stability and suspension. And at the same time, we want to have a beautiful flowing breath. So we feel relaxation. When we feel ashamed, when we're operating on a program of we're not enough, or that's okay, she's talking about that, but that's not really true for me. I've got problems. We all have that tape running. But here we are trying to taste something a little bit different. You might find you start to like it and it gets a little bit easier the more we practice together and individually. So we're nice and tall, and that's already dispelling contraction and folding in and going inside, being small, being afraid. We're taking up space, and we're also going to breathe in a nice, relaxed way, really having a beautiful conversation and communion with the universe and all of the elemental energies. So let's exhale with a sigh. Letting any old stuff out. And inhale, breathing in freely, breathing in nature, air, strength, beauty. And exhaling out whatever's old, gently. We don't want to strain with this. Inhaling, knowing that we are connected to everything. Exhaling, relaxing, releasing any stuckness. And one more time, nice big breath in and exhale. So relaxing ourselves so that we're more receptive and more in touch with our true nature. Let's do a few shoulder circles. Inhale, we circle the shoulders up and back. Exhale, down and forward. So here we're mobilizing the chest and the lungs and celebrating the fact that we have bodies, that we can move, that we can experience life. And how beautiful are those shoulders? How magnificent are your lungs and your heart? These miracles of the cellular body. Our biology is miraculous. And now let's jazz it up a little bit. One shoulder inhales up and back. That takes you into a little twist. And then inhale the other shoulder. Exhale as it circles down and around. Let your head and neck move freely. And then bring that to a finish and turn your head. How beautiful that you can see around you. Take in the beauty that is around you. Exhale as you turn. Maybe you want to take more of your body into the turn to really appreciate how your body can move, how you can see around you. And maybe there are things you haven't noticed, you've been a little unconscious about, but you can remember why you surrounded yourself with them. Maybe there's some nature, and we have wonder. I'm a big fan of Dr. Bruce Lipton, who's written a marvelous book called The Biology of Belief. In a nutshell, the idea is that our genes do not control everything. Our environment and our beliefs can turn genes on and off. So if we believe we have a condition that can never be resolved, we know for sure that's exactly what's going to happen. But if we start to open up and say, maybe, what would it be like if I were perfectly healthy? Can I imagine that? Can I picture that, and can I feed that into my cells? And the quickest example that he gave in a talk that I really enjoyed yesterday is, imagine when you're in love. And that can be in love with a person, with an activity, with a profession, with a book, a cat, a dog, whatever it is. But just think of any time that you've been in love. And within a short period of time, suddenly the world is like heaven on earth. Everybody's beautiful. Life is full of synchronicity. And that simply happens by a change of perspective. So as we continue our movements, and let's come and stand up, let's be in love with our bodies, in love with our lives. And even if you're grumbling a little bit, going, well, I don't know about that, be willing to suspend your disbelief and just try it on. If you go try on clothes, you'll try on a shirt and go, no, that's not for me. Or, oh, yeah, that color looks good on me. So be that open. Just try on this love of self. So we're zipped up, our feet are connected to the ground. We're in a posture of self love, of purity, of cleanliness, of everything humming and purring together. Let's shake a little bit, and we're shaking off any of those shackles. Shake off that old stuff. You can even slough it off you. Yuck, yuck, you don't need to stay here. Thank you for being around when I needed you. You protected me and or kept me company, but I'm trying on something new. I'm going to shake all that stuff off. Oh, use sound if you like, and loosen up so that we can be receptive for a new way of looking at our innate purity, cleanliness, our deserving, our deserving of peace, of harmony, of radiant health, of calmness, of loving kindness. It's a practice. It's a practice that we remind ourselves over and over again. Let's take the hands up and shake up. Give ourselves that stretch, those beautiful organs inside. Let them come alive. Hello, hello. Thumping the heels a little bit. Giving some information through the bones, a vibration of landing, coming down. And then swinging a little bit, allowing freedom. And we're going to let this come to a gentle finish. And stand nice and tall and relaxed for a moment, resting both hands over the heart center, smiling, connecting with your beautiful breath, and recalling any feeling of love that is colorful and alive for you. Imagine with all of your senses, the smells associated, touch, sight, feeling, taste if that's appropriate, and just really fill yourself with this love. This even stimulates our vagus nerve, which is often known as the nerve of yoga or the nerve of compassion. When you start feeling a little bit of that warm, fuzzy, beautiful, contented feeling, you're getting the essence of that devotion, that love. And now distill this feeling into the essence. You can let go gently for a moment of the object of your affections and feel that love inside your body. Just feel the sensation. And now we're going to turn it in towards ourselves, because self-love is a very important first step. So we're cleaning and purifying our beliefs, and we're bringing self-love into the equation. And we're going to tap self-love in. So every time you give yourself a little tap or a knock, you can say love, 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 or just imagine that you're bringing love with your mind, your heart, your fingers, and that your body is receiving that love. Loving your breastbone, appreciating your heart, your thymus, these beautiful organs, the love of your lungs, tapping out over the lungs. Take one hand on the hip and pat love into the lung on the opposite side. Circle with love around your breast and chest area, loving and appreciating the miracle, the wonder of your own body. Coming through the lymphatic system, the armpit, love your armpit and the side of your body. Give and receive. Coming down the back of the arm, loving the back of your arm, loving the forearm, all those muscles, bones, tendons, the blood flowing through, clapping the hands, standing ovation for purity and retraining our inner beliefs. Coming over the back of the hand, loving the fingernails, the hand, the wrist. So much love. Look at your body with love. Come over the shoulder, give yourself a pat on the back. Breathe in love, breathe out love. And just shake that out a little bit and see if things are starting to feel a little lighter or brighter. Maybe you're going to be won over by this. And remember, it's a practice. So we want to repeat it, remind ourselves during the day, standing or sitting in our full, beautiful, proud height, taking up our space, not shrinking away, but expanding, expanding. When we're confident and feel pure and bright inside, we're able to send the energy out and receive. When we're shrinking, we're going in and we're drawing away from the world. So here we're going to interact with the world in a loving way. And we're interacting with our bodies as a place to start. Lovingly tapping the lungs on the other side, circling around the breast and chest wall with love, appreciation. Appreciation for the miraculous physical body that is your vehicle for your spiritual experiences in this life. And loving the armpit, coming down under the arm, under the forearm, every touch full of love. Every touch of love, clearing away self-doubt in the tissues, replacing with love, appreciation, gratitude, loving up the outside of the arm, patting in love, getting those dust bunnies of stagnant energy to release from deep inside and come to the surface, and then shake that out. Tapping lovingly up and down the throat, the thyroid, the parathyroid, and also our expression, our voices. You can make sound when we're doing the neck, up and down the back of the neck, just to test your voice and your breath. Tapping around the jaw, yawning to relax. Letting go of tension, allowing ourselves to feel things, tapping with one hand between the chin and the lower lip, the other hand between the upper lip and the nose, and then tapping along the cheekbones. Glasses can come off for this, allowing ourselves to feel all emotions. We're not going into a spiritual bypassing place of it's only light, but we're using the idea of light and love to strengthen ourselves so that we can withstand the waves of the downs as well as the ups of life. And tapping lightly at the temples and lovingly circling the eye sockets. Love, love, love those beautiful eyes, those beautiful eyes, those eyebrows, those eyes that see wonderful things internally and externally. tapping the forehead and tapping all over the scalp, loving the brain, the two hemispheres, all the beautiful biology, loving ourselves, clearing the energy. Inhale, brush over the face and the scalp. Exhale, slough it off. Inhale, brush and clear. Exhale, release, release, release. Take a moment, take a little pause, stand tall, breathe, feel what you've cultivated so far, standing in radiant love, life, purifying our self, our vision of self, purifying our bodies. And now coming into the abdominal region, loving those organs, loving the liver, the gallbladder, stomach, spleen, pancreas. You don't even have to know what they do or where they are. Just send some appreciation. They will appreciate being appreciated. Coming into the back of the waist, kidneys, the back of the lungs. Oh, sound is a nice way to move energy. And coming around the waistline, the navel area, down into the lower belly, loving all the organs deep inside, bladder, reproductive organs, organs of elimination, coming into the groin area, loving the lymphatic system, lots of lymph and immune system in the groin area, pelvic floor, coming down the insides of the thighs, loving the miracle of your thighs, loving and seeing the beauty. How can you not love this miraculous beauty? Coming along the insides, over the tops of the feet, around the outsides of the feet, coming up the outsides of the legs, behind the knees, up the outsides of the legs, and a little celebratory shimmy, wiggling in delight. And letting this slow down a little bit more for the kidneys. Oh, loving the kidneys and loving the adrenal glands, giving some appreciation and some support to those adrenals, and then rubbing up and down to keep this area warm. And as challenging as this COVID time has been, isn't it true that it is also offering us an incredible opportunity to rewire our thinking, our priorities, to dive into deeper practices that are eternal? So here we are practicing together. And then rest the hands lovingly over the kidneys and let your breath flow into the kidneys and the adrenals. Imagine refreshing, relaxing, stress reducing, comforting energy flowing with your breath and your mind and your loving heart into your kidneys. And now let's slide the hands around, cupping an imaginary ball of light in a relaxed way, connecting to the sky above, the earth below, knees a little bit bent. And breathe and feel. Notice if you feel tingles, if you feel integrated. Are you still breathing in love and breathing out love and making sure that you include yourself in the equation? And now on an exhale, we're going to bow a little bit to the earth. On the inhalation, we receive the earth's love and we fill up and we fill to our full, vibrant selves. Exhale, we rotate the palms up receptively. We soften the knees a bit. Inhale, from the earth, we rise up and we embrace the sky, and the sky embraces up. We breathe in the sky. And exhale, we pour this beautiful love, like anointing ourselves with oil, with nectar, and it seeps all the way into our cells, the marrow of our bones. And let's do that one more time. Exhaling, connecting to earth. Inhale, receiving the love, strength, and stability of earth to help us fill ourselves. Exhale, relaxing, we're receptive. Inhale, we rise up, we gather the sky, we're full of beautiful energy, and exhale, it rains down over us. Take as many breaths as you want, refreshing, purifying, washing, shining the inner body, and then stepping the feet together, gathering all of this power, resting it in the lower belly center to stabilize us. And take a moment and feel and tell yourself how much you love and appreciate yourself, and practice cultivating this until it flows so freely without an obstacle or a doubt. And take this energy with you as you continue your day or your evening. And I thank you for tuning in to today's movement medicine morsel with the theme of shaucha, or the idea of looking at purity. Many, many blessings. See you next time.